Especially from people that like to drink light filter roast. I sometimes hear that the built-in Kaffelogic profiles are a bit too much on the darker side. And of course, you could take one of the profiles that you find in the community. There are a lot of profiles around there that are beautiful for light filter roasts, but especially the newer profiles like Kaffelogic Washed, Kaffelogic Natural, they are really beautiful to do this kind of light filter roasts. But you have to understand the logic of roast levels for that. And this is why I use this video to explain you about roast levels and how you can adapt and change a roast level in a particular profile. By the way, if things like this are of interest to you, then you might also be interested in our comprehensive 3.5-hour online course that we just released on the Kaffelogic Nano 7. We cover all details on the machine, on roasting green coffee beans. If this is of interest to you, then have a look here or also down in the description. But now let's start with the topic. And to explain your roast levels, I'm going to switch now to the computer where you can see here a classic roasting profile. This is actually here the example of the KL washed profile. And you can see then the roast will follow this curve, and at any temperature point of the curve, you might then end the roast, which is then a roast level that you have defined. So could be at 210.4 degrees Celsius, could be at 212.6, actually, however you like it. And what you need to understand is that then the roast levels that are on this profile is not a fixed value, so there is no like a common roast level, which is then always looking the same for each roast. It's really something that has been individually been set by the person who has developed a particular profile. How this has been done for a single profile is being seen if you go to profile settings, and then you can see here roast levels. By the way, if you don't see all the values here and you want to have more options to see, then you can go on difficulty and make sure that you are here in the right setting where you have a bit more information. I usually work in the engineer mode, but you can also maybe use with advanced expert. Just make sure that you see the roast levels here. And here you can see 7 temperature values in degrees Celsius. The first one is then for roast level 0, the second for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you see, for example, roast level 6 would end the roast at 230.5 degrees Celsius. Roast level 0 would end it at 205.8. And then all the steps in between, like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and so on, will be calculated directly by the software. And one other thing that is maybe interesting for you, it depends a little bit on the person who has developed the profile. So here Sean is then really nice in like putting all that information. So he says, for example, if you want to do a filter roast, then use roast level 0.8 to 1.2, which is actually also my recommendation. I usually in this profile then take 0.8. But as said, you can now change this if you are a person that likes to drink a bit lighter roast. But before you change anything, you should save a copy of this profile. So you should never then actually change something in one of the standard profiles. You can change this to KL Washed Adapted. So, and then also change the name here so that on the PC and on the machine, you will then see which profile it is. I change here also profile designer to my name so that I know which profile it is. And now I can go to profile settings and just change the values here. So I make it a little bit simpler for me. I see like usually roast level 0.8 would be a little bit below this 216. Maybe it would be somewhere around 213 degrees Celsius. I want to have this now later at roast level 2. So I just deduct 10 degrees Celsius here from each value. This is not very scientific now. If you want to be a bit more precise, then you can of course do your calculation, but I just want to show you how it's being done. So for example, I change 222 to 212, 224 to 14.5, and so on. Just change the value here. Check the last one would then be ending at 220.5 degrees Celsius. I'm going to save this. And now, it's saved and it's also synchronized. So I see the profile is here now on the machine, KL Washed, profile designer Ingo. And it is ready now. It's now also on the machine, so I could choose it on the machine. And to show you then the effect, I just did 2 roasts for you, where I'm going to show you then the difference. So the first roast I did, or I'm going to show you, is one that I used the standard KL wash profile from Kaffelogic. I roasted up to level 0.8. You can see that this roast then ended here at 214.9 degrees Celsius. It took about 6 minutes 24 seconds. And then the other roast that I did was with my new profile, the adapted one. And here I went up to roast level 2. So this is the roast level 2 of my new profile. And you can see that even the roast level 2 of the new profile is even a little bit lighter than 0.8 on the last one was. So I ended the roast at 212.6 degrees Celsius. It took about 17 seconds less. And then even if I'm going to have a look at the color of the roast, so you can see here the 2 roasts. This was the one that I did with the older profile to 0.8. This is the one that I did with the new profile to roast level 2. And they actually look quite the same, although they have a different roast level setting. And what this is now allowing you is a much broader range to play around and fine-tune your roast levels if you know you are always a little bit on the lighter side. I hope this video was helpful for you. As said, if you are interested in this kind of topic, then make sure you have a look at the Kaffelogic online course, where we have more than 3.5-hour content, where we go in a lot of these topics and tips and tricks, explain the software, explain the machine, explain roasting and green coffee beans. And if you are interested in knowing more about the Kaffelogic Nano 7, or if you have any particular question on coffee roasting, then come to our website. You'll find my contact there. You'll find all information on this great little coffee roasting machine there. And the website is called roastlevels.com.